You know, I'm getting close to 200 subscribers, guys. So you know what that means? It means other card games that aren't Flesh and Blood. That seems stupid. It seems like a dumb idea. But we're going to try it. Not for permanent, don't worry. Flesh and Blood is really all I have time for, and the wife would kill me. But I do want to spend today... This is going to be something new, something I haven't done before. A bit of a two-parter. Because I want to do a before and after. I got my hands on some Genesis. Jordan, Flesh and Bones. Great guy. He's been really pushing this game pretty hard. And Metazoo. And I wanted to talk about both of them. Now, I haven't tried either of these yet. And that's kind of the point of today's video. I want to share my initial opinions, initial thoughts, initial flags on both of these kind of up-and-coming games, up-and-coming in terms of popularity or playability or whatever, taking away some of the market share. Before I give these a shot, just as we all do with hobbies, you get initial impressions. You see what's out there, you get your thoughts on it, and I wanted to share those thoughts with you, and tonight I'm going to be trying out both of these games, and I'm going to come back probably tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, and I'm going to share my thoughts on them, on the actual play of them. So that's where we're at today. Beer for the day, left-hand IPA. I'm just going straight out of the can, because this is short and sweet. I need this to be short and sweet, because we're not talking Flesh and Blood, so, you know, it's probably not going to keep y'all around. Anyway, so let's start with Genesis Battle of Champions. Based out of Toronto, Canada. Assad is the creator. Fantastic guy. I spent yesterday actually talking to him. It was like he kind of made time for just any old chat about anything. It was fantastic. I really appreciated that. So that was super cool. Interesting game idea that it's played on a grid. Somebody related it to like the old Eye of Judgment from PlayStation. It's like, that's interesting. That's an interesting idea. So it's much more tactical than not. But I don't want to get too much into the game specifics. That's what I want part 2 to be. So tomorrow I'm gonna play these games tonight. Again, tomorrow I'm going to kind of review the play of them. One thing gameplay, or a couple things gameplay related, just I want to kind of share some things I'm really excited about off of just looking at videos and whatnot. I like that there's so much back and forth, but it's not I do all my stuff and then you do all your stuff. It's one of the things that makes Flesh and Blood fantastic, is there's a lot of different interactions in between the main player doing things. And this one, it almost doesn't even feel like there's like a main attacker and then a main defender. You have a board of heroes and minions, and each one kind of takes a turn. And then once they're all taken their turn, you go. So it's not I'm on my back heel for half the game and then you're on your back heel for the other half. That's something I really dig. That's something I'm pretty excited to see. And I don't know if that's going to be overly complicated or not. I do know something I'm worried about overcomplicated is the stacks. There's just a lot of kind of counter. I think they're called swift actions here, but it's a lot of like, surprise, I do things, and that can become a really beefy, complicated mess. I want to play it out. I watched one game where there was like an 8-card, 9-card stack, and I was like, God, I hope that's not normal, because I hate that. Crossing my fingers on it, but outside of that, I mean, regardless, there's some cool things that I haven't really seen done. Like there's definitely unique that feed off of some common ideas like the stack, but it's really cool. I'm pretty excited to check it out. Out of the gate, couple things. One, again, creator, awesome guy, big fan, great meeting him. The game itself has been out for a couple of years. Now that COVID is kind of becoming a semi-non-issue with an asterisk, please get vaccinated. He's trying to make a big push for expansion on it. He's doing pretty well in Canada. There's a couple dozen shops in the United States. There's a little bit of a presence out in EU. He's starting to talk to various content creators. I've seen DM Armada, Ben's Trading Cards, Flesh and Bones. I think Fabulous, I think is the other one, getting into it. So there's a lot. There's ones that are starting to take a look at this game. Again, super interesting. Some flags, though. There's already 4 sets for this thing. There's an alpha, a beta, a welcome set, and then something called Raise. So I was like, oh, well, I'm way behind for something that I never heard of. And I guess that's just the nature of things. That's the nature of card games for sure. And you kind of got to keep going for the people that you do have. Nobody's going to keep buying what you had. But I'm a little worried at how much has already shown up. And this type of expansion and this type of push at this time, knowing there's so much out there and it's all basically out of print. Again, it's very reminiscent of kind of how Flesh and Blood was for a lot of us. And it was kind of infuriating. It was kind of a turnoff, but we're going to see because I know there's second editions and whatnot coming out. Another thing that has me on the back foot a little bit, and this is when I really need to play the game in order to see, is the scale of casual can have fun versus this is really serious and you need to take it seriously seems really, really imbalanced. It's one of the things that I really like about Flesh and Blood right now, and it's honestly one of the things I loved about Magic, and I like about a lot of games, is that I could be janky and silly, and I can kind of watch that engine work. And I can have an absolute blast with it, or I can really focus in on being competitive and trying to hone something down. And I'm not that guy who really tries to hone down competition, but I've seen it plenty. Genesis doesn't look like a game that really caters to both sides of that. And that's a big turnoff for me. Again, I have to play the game in order to really know that. But with that tactical side of things, you know, and with what I've seen from the cards, there doesn't seem to be a lot of, I'm trying out a weird idea and I want to see if it works. There seems to be too much else going on and too much that gets in the way of really being able to kind of treat this like something that is both fun and competitive. Man, I feel like the needle is swayed a bit in one direction. Not to say that the competitive side isn't fun, but there is something to be said about being non-competitive, but still a threat. And me being a guy who loves his jank, I'm really curious to see where that fits into this game, and as that's definitely one of those things that I think is really what a lot of people are looking for. So see Metazoo as a great example, but I don't know. I'll have to play it out and see. So with that in mind, let's get into this. I'm gonna take a drink because I'm gonna need to. Okay, Metazoo. I don't know where to begin with this one. I really don't, but I am gonna try it tonight because I got my hands on 2 starter decks. I have looked a little bit at how the game plays. I know that the creator, Mike Riddell? Oh crap, I might confuse him with the MyPillow guy, and I'm sorry, Mike, that is not intentional. They're similar names. Hi, Editing Joe. It's Mike Waddell. I had to look it up afterwards. I am so sorry, Mike. Yeah, Mike Dell leads to a lot of... His name's Mike Waddell, and I hope I even said his last name correctly. Anyway, back to our show. So I'm going to be honest, I'm not as excited about Metazoo as I am Genesis, as I am about other things, specifically because it comes across as a little gimmicky. And I know I just said with Genesis that one of my little concerns before playing it, I own that, is that it doesn't look like you can just pick up and go. And Metazoo very much looks like you can just pick up and go. But it's kind of the fourth wall gimmick side of things that makes me it makes me not necessarily be excited to invest hundreds of dollars into booster packs and really kind of grow my strategy and grow my decks and grow a lot of different unique things and try to kind of be the best and try to be good at this. It's a little bit just, hey, super casual, super fun. And if that's the case, the trading card game model doesn't quite work for me. It just kind of doesn't. But that's me. That is me and me alone, and I own that. I know that there are a lot more casual players out there, people who don't want to invest their entire darn life into this game. Lord knows I don't want to invest my entire life into Flesh and Blood. My wife will say otherwise, and she's got a really good argument right now. I'm working on my life balance. My game life balance. I'm working on it. So a couple more positives before I get into some of my flags, and there's a lot of them on this one. I'm sorry, I can't avoid them. I have to call it like I see it. Again, the jankiness, I think, could be a lot of fun. I like the idea that I could really I can take this literally anywhere, and there could be value in it. There's value in going to a forest and playing this game. I don't know a single game that I can say that about, and that presents an interesting element, especially somebody from Colorado who tries to hike, who says he likes to hike and then never hikes. But it would be fun to like go to a top of a mountain and play a game on the summit and actually have my creatures be better as a result of that. That's pretty damn cool, but also pretty damn gimmicky, struggling to see the competitive nature of things. But there you go. It's fun. It just seems like it's a fun concept. Let's jump into some flags for it, though. And again, I don't know gameplay. I can't give you any gameplay positives. It's just initial impressions. Couple flags. First things first, why the hell is there so much fucking merchandise for this game? Why, if I looked on the site right after like the Kickstarter and just as this thing was getting going, why could I buy hats, shirts, postcards, branded freaking apparel, and I couldn't buy the damn cards? That makes no sense to me. As a marketing guy, you're selling the brand before you're selling the thing that makes the brand. Nobody has ever done that and succeeded outside of clothing. It's like you can buy Nike shit and you sell the brand before you really care about the quality of the shoe, and that's kind of one of the things. That's kind of why I saw Metazoo doing. Like, I'm coming in sporting my Metazoo pride. What is Metazoo? It's a card game I can't get. Okay. It was weird to me. It's weird to me. That was a thing. I kind of wish that the game could get a little bit more established and the actual thing that you created this for had a little bit more life to it. And honestly, if it was the comic series that also exists around this thing and you're actually trying to create kind of an IP and kind of a world, that's another flag, because then I suddenly have to follow the story, and then this game makes more sense based on the story that you've created around it. But you already have it. You've got cryptozoology. You have an entire culture, a folklore. So it's kind of weird what he's trying to do with this world. It's neat to maybe try to assign a story to the cryptozoology stuff, the Loch Ness monsters and the Bigfoots. But why was that such a marketing strategy at the beginning of this, before the game even got a chance to be released? Really weird to me. Second thing, I have to call the hell out of this. It's the keyboard warriors. I'm going to end on this note, and I don't want to. It's the keyboard warriors. The culture around this, for people who dissent, who have concerns, I get it. It's a game that got a lot of popularity. There are going to be people defending their game. There's plenty defending Magic and Flesh and Blood and saying, oh, Metazoo is absolute garbage, and it's terrible, and it's going to die, and it's a fad, and it's a bubble. They said it about Flesh and Blood also. But the overwhelming amount of success that came out of nowhere, and then the response to that, has not been met with positivity and excitement for the game and its value. It's been met with negativity and anger and this overprotection, not just from players, but also a little bit from their creator. Mike, you gotta stop. I don't understand banning people from Discords and Reddits for posting on some other site that started out as a bit of a criticism. I don't know where the anger's coming from. I don't know why you're getting into that. It's going to turn off any new player. It's going to turn off LGSs. It's just rough. Community members, this post is also, you're going to see flags and be like, oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I actually expect a few. This is one of the few videos where I am genuinely concerned about vitriol in my comment section, and I'm not that big of a creator, but it's going to sneak in, and I'm genuinely worried about it because it's in such force in such obvious places. And I'm a little worried. I wish that were not the norm, but that's just out of nowhere. That's just off of first impressions. I am happy to be proven wrong, and I encourage you to do so in the comments civilly, please. I am merely exploring, sharing those impressions from very little research and from just what is naturally shown up in front of me. I hope that I play both of these games, love the hell out of them, and can say to any other viewer out there who is not committed to a card game yet, if this is your playstyle, if this is what you like, man, do I have a game for you. That's what I want. But share in the comments, let me know what you think. I would love to hear your thoughts. Again, please be civil. I hate that I have to say that, but that is one of my concerns specifically around Metazoo. Just like if I were to go crazy about Magic, I worry about some things. And honestly, with anything, I'm not trying to put like Flesh and Blood or anything on a pedestal. I just have to go with where the needle has been pointed right now. So I've seen some negative Flesh and Blood player stuff as well, don't worry, but that's for another video. And I've got some really fun, exciting things, but I will look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow about my gameplay experiences with both Genesis and Metazoo, and I look forward to talking about it then. But reach out ahead of time if you've got some things for me to keep in the back of my mind. Cheers, mates.